So we have had a few videos in the last week or so wherein my only involvement is talking about things that someone else made, and I'm here for it. But before we talk about what I did not make today, hi, I'm Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You're at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things. And today we are doing another Zodiac soap. It is time to make the Cancer bar, which is awesome. And I love it. And it smells like Earl Grey mixed with like oceany scents, and it's very, very delightful. As you might know, if you've tuned in for other Zodiac sign soaps, we put a lot of effort into the research of the individual signs to create the bars and then the essential oil roller bottles that go along with these. And the research that went into this one all came from my soapprentice, George May. And she's actually the one who has poured all of the Cancer bars. I have literally never, ever poured this one. Not once, not one time. In fact, I don't really pour any of the water sign bars. She designed them, and I looked at that and went, you can do those. And I think I poured the Pisces one time, and it did not look like her design, and she looked at it when she came in and said, oh, you tried. And then I told her that she was on bath bomb duty for a month, and I meant it. Anyway, today she is going back to making the water bars, so she is doing Cancer because that's next up in the Zodiac, and this is where we are in the whole astrological, sphere right now. And so again, a water bar, Cancer is a water sign, so the design reflects that. The design also reflects the colors that Cancers are drawn to, and the scents also do as well. But I'm going to stop talking about the bar so you can check out George May's awesome, pouring skills in the video. Let's go. Let's see what George May's up to today. So she is making the Cancer bar. Cancer bar is next up in the Zodiac line. And this particular sign is a water sign. So there is a water design in the bar, so that is represented, and it is similar to the other two water signs, just with kind of different colors and scents and all that jazz. Now, with the Cancer bar, this is the color selection and the palette and the color palette and everything that we selected. This was all specific. We did this for a reason, just like we did with the rest of the Zodiac bars, in that we wanted to use colors that really speak to that particular Zodiac sign, as well as scents. And so this guy has a multiple in the pot swirl with purples and grays, because Cancer is very much drawn to sort of regal colors, and they are, and the scent blend is very comforting. Cancers really love being just relaxing and being sort of in the comfort of their own home or by the water. So the scent blend actually is an Earl Grey mixed with like this beachy, oceany, scent that we have, and it's delightful and works out really well for the Cancer bar itself. Now, you see what George May just did there, putting the soap batter directly into the coffee scrub, the coffee grounds? That is cool. I don't do it that way, and that is a fun little trick because you're actually effectively, dirtying one less dish, and I am all about that.
Okay, now on to the pour. So the coffee grounds that Georgia May mixed up with some soap batter and scented are going to go into the mold first, and then she's going to want that to set up for a while so she can do some sculpting on top and pour the next layer. So while that is setting up, she will be measuring out her next layer, which will be an in the pot swirl of 2 colors. And that soap batter is getting a little thick. Now the reason it's getting thick is because, I don't know if you noticed at the very beginning, but her oils looked pretty cool. And the reason I could tell that they looked pretty cool is because they were sort of like milky. And this particular oil blend has a lot of solid oils in it. So it's about 60% coconut and palm. And then it also has olive oil and what else is in that guy? Grapeseed, I believe. And yeah, so as a result, it's a 60-40 blend of hard to soft oils. And soaping cool with something like that can actually get you a thicker batter that can, you can run into trouble with something like that. So it is something called false trace, and I don't really, whatever. False trace is a useful term. So that's what you get when it looks like your soap batter has hit emulsification, right? Or it's hit trace, but in actuality what you're seeing is your solid oils that need a higher melting point are thickening up. And so the soap as a result is getting thick even though emulsification has not been achieved. And I think I've shown you that in a couple of videos before, like the difference between emulsification and false trace, because it can look like you are at trace even if you're not. But Georgia May is she's a pro, so she knows that this batter is at emulsification even though it is getting thick. So when you are soaping with a high hard oil content, it's best to keep it a little bit, hotter temps to keep the batter fluid for longer. But as you can see, when she's pouring in the scent and she starts working with the batter, it really is still loosening up really well. So she's going to be able to do a lovely in the pot swirl with this, even though it is a little bit thick just sitting in the big Pyrex. Now the first swirl is going to be the gray and the purple, and it's an in the pot swirl that then gets poured into the mold over the coffee grounds that are currently in there. And I like the addition of the coffee grounds because it adds a cool texture to it, and also it makes it an exfoliant bar, and I love exfoliants, so that's cool. And that looks pretty good. It's not moving around there, and she's going to just sculpt the top a little bit, provide some extra texture really, so she can pour this soap batter over the top. Now this particular batch is usually done on an angle. So the layer, each different layer goes in on an angle and creates a cool, it's not exactly a thin line pour because we don't cut it the same way, but the idea is to have some different variations on each section. And interestingly, actually, she did not pour that on an angle because she poured it but then didn't leave it there, so it all flattened out. So I'm interested to see what that does. I'm guessing she's probably going to sculpt the top and then do the next layer instead of having it on an angle, but I don't know. This is the first time that I've seen this video, so I am, along for the ride with you. Now that the second layer is setting up, she's going to use the purple batter that she's already, gotten ready, and going to use the white batter that we have sitting in the mold there, or in the pot, and it's getting all thick. And she's going to use some titanium dioxide to really whiten that up, and then she'll do another in the pot swirl inside this guy. So, and that's the kaolin clay going in there, and the kaolin clay is dispersed in water, and that's awesome. And so it is again loosening up the batter really well, and you're going to get another in the pot swirl that goes on top of the existing black and purple, I guess it's gray and purple, in the mold there. So with this, you have the kaolin clay and then you have the blacks, which would be the activated charcoal. So you have two different types of clay in the cancer bar, plus an exfoliant. This thing is just a powerhouse of awesome. And now she is going to get this second layer, third layer, second, in the pot swirl, layer ready to go, and pour that on top after I assume she's going to sculpt the top and do the things. And then the remaining soap batter that she has left, the remaining white, will go over the top of all of it. So I guess technically speaking, it is a 1, 2, 3, 4 layer bar. And it is again meant to look like a water scene. So that's why we are doing the swirls and the side pours and all of that jazz. And I love watching these pours go into the mold because it looks like ribbon candy. It's one of my favorite things ever to do a wall pour with an in the pot swirl. And once this has set up, she will then take the remainder of the white and put it over the top of all of that beautifulness. And then, you know, it goes in the oven and it gets C-popped. So we want it to go through gel because I like to C-pop my soaps. I think it's awesome. And I love how she's adding some awesome texture there too that will really create some interesting sort of depth and dimension to the bars, which is good. And yeah, no, so we will put this in the oven. It will cure up overnight. It will be C-popped, and then it will be ready to, you know, cut and reveal tomorrow. And this batter, did you see how after she had put in the scent blend and the kaolin clay that was dispersed in the water, how it stayed reasonably loose for a long time? That is a really good tip. Any sort of liquid ingredients or extra, you know, liquid that you're going to be putting into your soap, if you can hold it off until you are ready to work with your batter, that is a good way to keep your batter, to essentially thin out your batter long enough to play with it and do something with it for all sorts of things. So that's a very good pro tip that you can use in your soapy creations, because batter, it can get thick. It does its thing, especially with, you know, my batter, because again, I make clay soaps, so it's always thick. And she's going to sculpt the top, which is super beautiful. Georgia's a sucker for sculpted tops. She loves them, loves them. And so this is a good thing to, this is a good bar to really represent the way she soaps and her soaping style, because again, she created these bars. We, the water bars were all her. I have only poured one water bar ever, and that was the Pisces, just the one time. Now we are on to the cut. Okay, it is cut day, and that looks like a beautiful bar of soap. It is so shiny. The white is beautiful. I love how shiny that top is. That tells me that things went through gel. Everything looks great. The grays and the purples on the side did not just all turn gray, which is good. And now we're going to do the cutting and the things and see what kind of awesome pattern we have inside these bars. And let's check it out. Which is she gonna pick? The one in the middle, I like it. Oh, that's super cute. This is one of my favorite bars ever that's in the line, because it's purple, and purple is totally my jam. And it looks like, you know, kind of mountain-esque. And I'm from a place where there's lots of mountains. I'm from Colorado. Tons of mountains. And so it's just, I love it. It kind of makes me wish that I was a Cancer sign. But, you know, I'm not. I'm Gemini. And, you know, speaking of the Cancer sign, it is a very cool sign in that it is ruled by the moon. So, you know, like Gemini, for example, me, I ruled by Mercury, and, you know, we've done the Mercury soap, and we've done the Mars and the Venus, and so that means that the next planet soap will actually be the moon, which is fun. Like, we can do a lot of really cool stuff with that. I'm not sure which kind of moon I'm going to want to make, but yeah, these bars, they all look absolutely beautiful. She did such a great job on all of them. We don't have any sort of pockets that would be, you know, signs of concern. This is what I mean about the false trace. Georgia was a pro. She knew that she had hit emulsification, and she kept going with the thing, because even though her soap was getting thicker than maybe she necessarily wanted, she knew that it was not an example of false trace, that, you know, everything was fine, and she was going to be able to loosen up the batter, which she did beautifully. Now, the final piece on all the zodiac signs, obviously, are going to be the stamping of the signs, and so there you have the Cancer sign, which is so cute, and I love the little extra bright purple into these bars. They're super adorable, and yeah, there's just nothing wrong with this pour. She did an excellent job. It's an absolutely stunning bar of soap, and The scent blend, again, it's an Earl Grey, and it's like a sort of oceany, vibe. It's what we use for the Clean Joy, the Greyjoy bar in the Game of Soaps line. And that mixed together is just, it's perfect. It's absolutely delightful, as is, this bar. And that is day 80, the Cancer Zodiac soaps. And yeah, good job, Georgia May. You did awesome.
And there it is, our next Zodiac soap, the Cancer. I love this soap, probably because purple is my favorite color in the whole entire world, so I definitely relate to it. But I love the different variations with the in the pot swirls from different, levels within the soap, and it's just delightful. The smell is also delightful. It's both invigorating and calming at the same time, which is very interesting. And yeah, it's great. And it is currently available on the website, which is good because it's actually been sold out for about 3 months. So it's time, it's there as of right now. Yay! If you're interested in purchasing it, you can find it on soapandclay.com. If you are interested in the rest of our Zodiac line, they're also there. I think they're all in stock right now, I hope. And if you are interested in more soapy antics, subscribe to the channel. This is what we are doing every single day. So we play with different pours, we play with different techniques, we talk about different oil blends and how to, hit trace, or what is emulsification, or how do I get a better lather. We do all the things. And yeah, again, thank you so much for joining me for another round of 365 days of soap. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.